So now we are at your another space where you
Yep.
create, where you paint, right? Where you do music. And let's talk about your music project, Babylon.
hmm
How did it start and how, in general, music entered your life and why?
For me, it's interesting because they actually come at a similar time of finding ceramics, which is why I felt like I always had to keep them both going because just like a teacher, Miss Sarah, brought me into the ceramics classroom, I was hanging around a cipher with a lot of guys that were rapping. I'm not a rapper. I'm more of a skater, snowboarder. And eventually, after like a couple hours, like, no, come on, Aaron, like, come on. And then, so yeah, being invited into a cipher changed my life too. And like, just kind of seeing the openness. It didn't matter that I was terrible. It was more about the energy and feeling and like being a part of it. So it's like, you didn't have to be good at rapping, but you could like reference something someone said and make them laugh and like and find these ways. Yeah, I kind of started rapping around my junior year too, which is kind of crazy. Like a same kind of like 16-year-old, 17, and then was just freestyling kind of exclusively for a couple years. But I was the one to like after I kind of moved on and wasn't by those people, then all of a sudden I got these other spaces. Let's cipher, let's get. So then I started getting like other people into at least freestyling and rapping, and then yeah, kind of connecting with people through the skate park that also kind of produced and made music, and then got connected with someone who kind of liked to produce. At that time, they were really trying to like push business and be really serious, and I was like, I was snowboarding. I was just starting when I was taking music more seriously. I was just starting to get back into community college. My 2 years of snowboarding was up. I had to start focusing. So then at the community college, I was kind of looking for music, but I found open mics. They had like poetry open mics at the college. So then I like did a couple. I was like winning gift cards to the bookstore, like for food, So doing that, and then did a couple. Found some people that wanted to do a couple shows, and then just started kind of selling like 10, 20 tickets to try to do little shows on like Cedar Avenue in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And you said in your previous studio, you said that you have some kind of like a specific bits that you're using for the production.
Yeah, so now I'm kind of shifting where historically I was kind of just using two producers that I was like kind of had a relationship with. Now I found them like through the internet, but then like we kind of talked and like made beats specifically for me since I've been in Chicago. But before that, it was just whatever I could kind of get. And then through kind of working with producers, developing a sound, which I have, and a lot of that music I still haven't released, I'm kind of sitting on. Not sure why. A lot of it will get released some way. And now I'm realizing there's a little more that I want to be a part of on the production side. So now I am oftentimes, yeah, really simple beats. I took it back to like the flutes and the sound really made me think about like the heartbeat
Mhm.
and like that type of rhythm. So I'm trying to slow down. I'm trying to like match heart rates that feel good, that are comforting. And so like, yeah, we're kind of in a space where I do the painting of my practice, second bedroom. Thanks Danica for letting me hold this down a lot. With paintings then, rather than turn on music, I started like with my 808 simple loops. I had it set really low because I was kind of like hip hop BPM, but now I'm like, oh wait, this is literally how house music was made. So now I'm just kind of into sound and rhythm that feels good, and I'll like get a loop going over there and then like stare at this thing. This is a work in progress. So like the background's done, but like this guy's not done, so who knows, tonight I might do his tongue or something like.
What do you express through music that you can't express through
Ooh, yeah,
ceramics or
yeah.
even paintings?
Yeah, music, we'll start there. Music, other than paintings and clay, you can experience with your eyes closed fully. Now, paintings and clay can also be experienced with your eyes closed, but it's different. In a museum, you might not be able to experience it with your eyes closed because you might have to touch it. But with clay, it's interesting. I remember the first time I saw blind people at an exhibition and they got permission to go. They were touching every part of the pieces. I was like, this is fucking amazing. So I took a neuroscience class in college And actually the class, it was an advanced graduate class taught by a blind professor. He told everybody he's an art student. He's in here for humanities credit. Be nice to him. Like, he just needs a C. Like honestly, he set it up, and like the people were so great. And like, so those classes made me, wait, this is kind of lit. So music, you don't have to touch. You don't have to see, but you can feel it. You can feel it. And it goes in your ear and you can feel it. Like and so like music adds an element, you know, you could make sound off a ceramic vessel that you could feel too. And so that's where I'm like, wait, where does noise, sound, and music intersect? You know? So I'm not, just like with my clay, it's not that I'm making clay do just organic clay things. It's not that I'm being Jean-Michel Basquiat and making sound, you know, and like, because that's even like gray matter. That's inspired by the Gray, like that electronic band that like he was in and stuff. And so like for me, music is like universal in a sonic way that I don't think humans can understand. Like even different than how we're looking at visual things. Like there is something innate in our species, in our DNA, that responds to sound and is moving us in ways that we don't cognitively understand. Nothing gives me goosebumps like music does. There's a good answer.
How do you think those two practices, music and sculpture, connect to each other?
So I started on a treadle wheel. Well, when I really started taking myself seriously, a treadle wheel is a kick wheel that has a lever system that is controlled to one rotation of the wheel. So you actually sit upright, kind of on a saddle, and you lever the whole time. And you're so there's a literal rhythm. So that is like a dance. All of a sudden I realized in the studio, especially because I think through action, like I said, I'm a flailer. So the more I'm moving, the more I'm flowing. And the more things are feeling good. And the less I'm thinking. And it's like, it's not that I'm not thinking, but like you're thinking through like here, through here. And you're thinking more through here instead of like between your ears.
Like a meditation.
Yeah. And that's like what that flow state, you know, that flow state is just a universal consciousness that your body and your body and your energy or your spirit kind of takes over your cognition. Because and that's the reminder. It's like, wait, dude, we don't have to just use our heads. Like, what about these things we feel? Those mean something, you know?
Yeah, let's talk about the inspiration a little bit.
Okay.
What inspires you now as an artist?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny to have, I used to have this old print of a Basquiat right here. Okay. And like, there is something about Jean-Michel Basquiat that like, yeah, probably my biggest just like influence of like embodiment for some reason. Like maybe it was the movie, you know, maybe it was the movie that I watched of him that like, and so I kind of see that, so I get to feel a little bit of how he lived. And I've seen that movie so many times.
What's the name of the movie? Basquiat.
Yeah, I actually have a movie. I'm blanking on the actor's name, but he does a good job. Like Warhol's in it and stuff. And like, it's just like, it really, oh my gosh, the cigarette smoke, like just even how I graffiti. Cause like, I never was a trained tagger. I have terrible joints and stuff. So my lines aren't always consistent. And so, I was more of a scriber, like oil stick, cause I love culture, you know, and I see how culture sustains a people. Culture is not have a color. Like culture is a way of sustainability that revolves around ethics, humanity, humility, family, community.
Those days when you don't feel an inspiration, if it happens.
I like old bad movies on the couch. Okay. I'll wake up then and I'll be like, I'm not reading today. I'm turning on like The Sandlot or something. Sometimes I might go to the park, like really like, and just like look. If I'm not inspired, okay, I'm too in my head. Just look out. Go to the park, observe something that makes you feel good. Ask yourself what makes you feel good about it.
How do you feel Chicago as an art city?
Yeah, I love Chicago. I think it's top tier. I think it's world class. Moving from Minnesota as a ceramicist, as a potter, and then coming to Chicago, it's like, whoa, I can be an artist. In Minnesota, you kind of had to define those. The galleries, you know, because they're different. They only show pots. They don't show sculpture, ceramics, or whatever it may be. Really like gritty. People are kind of raw and authentic in a cool way. Like, I don't like the word cool, but they're in a unique way. They're like raw and authentic in a unique way of like perseverance, sustaining what they got going, but also like a little bit guarded in a right way, because there are a lot of scammers out in cities like this, just trying to take advantage, just jump on what you got going. So that's why I feel some like real relationships blossoming. You know, I've been here for a while now, like 8 years working, and it's crazy. Some relationships I feel like are just gonna blossom. But I've been going really slow. Didn't want to step on toes. I'm a guy who would like to check in with whoever thinks is running shit. Like, yeah, I'll stop by you and say what up and like introduce myself. Be like, look, I'm trying to do this in this city now. Like, I get all that. I'm not trying to step on any toes. Like, yeah, man, there's some people out there I really think I might work with. And at some point might have thought I missed that opportunity. But I'll say this, I had an opportunity to like meet Cole Bennett, Lyrical Lemonade. And I kind of like, it was weird. I was gonna say something, but I was actually waiting for my friend who just kind of like jumped in and started talking to him. And I was like, oh, dang, he's talking, but I needed to talk to him because it was either like he was about to leave, his car was gonna get towed. So then they like stopped talking and he turned to me, but out of respect, because I was just, your car, so I forgot what it was. And then I ended up not, and I was kind of like, whoa, I kind of just like cool got him or something. And so I got like in my head. And for years, I was like, I fucking blew my chance. Like, no joke. This was like 4 years ago now. And I was like, nah, I don't think I was ready. Like, I just don't think the timing was right. Like, yeah, Chicago, like everybody's on top of each other in a cool way. Or all the dope potters in Minnesota were out of the city. They weren't even, so it's a whole different thing. Like artists commune and like get closer, potters like separated.
What would you like to explore next?
I think now I'm gonna try to explore being a little bit more professional. And so I'm thinking about marketing, setting up more specific kind of like runs, like 1 of 10 of these, and kind of trying to find a market. I just started working with a great like curator, artist appreciator, artist, David Maxwell from California, who had this project of just like taking someone's art and making a mold to make a bronze. Like he's doing this for a lot of artists right now. I want to do bronzes. So can I pull this one out? Should I pull this out? Yeah, so I have one sitting right here. And so I'll hold it up. And so I'm thinking about, this is just like kind of a prototype, but I like Ken Price, going back to like inspirations. I said Jean-Michel Basquiat, but there's a lot of artists that inspire me. And this is kind of like thinking of some Ken Price stuff. And this is like this little bronze. And then thinking about kind of like just marketing, packaging, building a story around these like a little bit more. Yeah, because really like inspiration for like ceramics and how I want to make art. Yeah, Jean-Michel Basquiat, like Ken Price, Jun Kaneko, Mac Miller, like Juice WRLD. Like there's this emotional quality I think that a lot of those people have. And then technically like with ceramics like Ron Nagel. And yeah, just try to be an asset. Yeah, make sure I hold myself accountable in my work and like what it's doing, like the impact it's actually having. Like try to have lasting impact. Don't just sell objects to consumers. And make sure like there's something that's really like giving back in that way, because I'm only leveraging myself more now to like build equity to be able to give back. I had to like learn through that. I kind of like, I'm just going to be a teacher, this, but I have all this that I can like use as, it's like wealth in a sense, you know. It's just a different form. It's like development that I can show and talk about and teach and share. So like, yeah, figuring out how to share that information, slightly monetize it, but not in a way for like monetizing its sake. Just like give the service that people are willing to pay for.
And also talking about galleries, you've been part of a lot of different exhibitions and shows, but maybe you had like one exhibition that you felt that, okay, I'm going the right way.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, I've had a couple now that are really making me feel that. Like Oliva Gallery, incredible. Like Kimberly, so sweet. This latest show, Timeless Body, that made me feel really good to be a part of that. With those incredible artists, I feel like, yes, now I am on this. But it was like l8street. It was l8street. I got a little bit of freedom with like this stairwell gallery they have there, kind of in between a couple floors. It's like literally in a hallway. So it's nice, but people didn't really like it. People kind of frown upon. And it was sitting like vacant for a while. So like the residency show was a group show. It was in the basement gallery. That was kind of nice. That was a good show. We got good reviews. Actually, that was like one of the first times in a group show that I got the okay to do a spoken word piece at the reception. So that was like one of the first ones. And so, yeah, the residency show, and then right after, it was sitting open, that gallery. And so they were like, oh, you should do a show in there. So I kind of made this little design. It was called Handheld. And that is where my first Hope Stone came from. So not only did the aesthetic kind of come from there, because I used paint in a way, I used yellow and black, but I used it to design and make the small space seem bigger. So I was like taking lines out of the space so it felt bigger. The very next show I went pink. So that taught me like, okay, it's not these colors, it's pink. And then the Hope Stone, very first one, that was like one of the first things I sold in that show from someone who runs the Nevica Project, a collector in Chicago. So they came to the opening. And so that one really felt important because I was showing sculptural work, not pots. I had a theme. I tried things on the wall. Those things kind of allowed me to learn about myself to even pitch to Kimberly, because I learned like, oh, I have to go to these spaces I like. So then I started going to her gallery because someone was doing something funky there. And I was like, what? Okay. And then I ended up meeting her and was just like, would you like to come by the studio? And it wasn't right away. It wasn't the first time. So it was just about existing and then finding, you know, being resourceful. Like, who's doing what? Who's trying to show cool artists? Like, I'm a cool artist. Like, let me, you know. Yeah, I owe a lot to l8street, the Handheld show, for really kind of, I can do this. Because I had to ask for the gallery too. Because it's sitting there open. I've been seeing it. Like, a couple other people were like, man, we should just do a show. And so that was like, you know, being confident I have an idea, going and be like, can I show this idea? Sure. And then following through. I would say that had to kind of be. Then I started thinking about the craft sales in Minnesota though too, because those were important, selling stuff. Because that high school teacher, no joke, within my first class, there was a parent-teacher conference coming up. She already could tell I was serious. She's like, make pendants. I'm going to give you string. You're going to make necklaces. You're going to sell them at parent-teacher conferences. The moms are going to buy them. She was right. I sold everyone. Like, and she set me up a table so it's like, that could be that, you know? I've been lucky. Like, I have been very blessed by grace and graceful people. I was kind of like a little lost puppy. Still kind of feel that, which is why I don't try to talk like too confidently, because I don't want to like misguide people or anything like that. It's hard out here. I instantly like went right into my heart right there. I was like, whoa, because we're going to influence people no matter what. And we got all these people, they're not thinking about the consequences. And it's like, I've made some of these choices. I can see them. Yeah, they're not good outcomes.
What is one piece of advice that you will give to a young artist who is starting out?
One piece of advice. Find like 1 or 2, maybe 3 people that you can trust, that understand you as a person, understand art and what you're trying to show, and get critical feedback constantly. Find people that you love enough, trust enough, know enough, whatever it is, that like you can let them open up, unleash critical feedback on your stuff, and you're gonna know how to turn it into fuel and not take it as an insult and not take it as something bad. Yeah, I wouldn't be who I was if I didn't have strong voices in my life. I didn't necessarily have this practice, but I could see how it would really help me. There was moments when I had access to people to critique work and stuff. I probably didn't take it up as much as I should. People you trust, learn how to take criticism. There's my answer. Learn how to take criticism and like learn how to turn it into fuel. Simple.
Thank you so much, Aaron. It was so nice talking to you. Thank you for having us in your 2 spaces. We've got lots of inspiration, and
yeah,
thank you for opening such a beautiful topics with us.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. No, it's so dope. Yeah, welcome you into my home. Thanks for coming into the studio. I like absolutely love inviting, like-minded people into my safe space, and talking about these risks I'm taking with art, because with art it's like it's not detrimental, like there's ways that we can kind of see it and guide it together, so so all this like helps me too, so it's like super appreciative of the opportunity. Thanks. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Thank you.
Hell yeah.